Hey, it's Sydney here with Sacha Trudeau. Welcome to We Day Vancouver. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Sydney.
I want to start off with who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Well, I guess I'm a fan of philosophers, I guess, people who go deep with their thoughts, so that's what I study. So I guess those are the people I think about the most. People who travel and who are brave, who leave comfort and privilege to take risks and go out in the world and see rare and strange things. Those are the kind of people who inspire me.
What was one of the most happiest moments in your life?
The birth of my first child.
You also went to China recently, or often actually. How was that experience for you as a whole?
Oh, well, China's an exceptionally interesting country. It's, it's both the oldest country and in many ways the newest because it's undergoing such immense change now. I don't think there's been so much wealth creation in the world ever as what's happened in China in the last little while. So it's gone from being a sort of a poor and distant country to a world powerhouse. So there's a lot to see and understand there.
Did you have any epiphanies when you went there?
Oh, so many. Yeah, no, I've been there, I don't know. I've lost track of how many times I've been there, but it's such a diverse country. It's a country of great wisdom too. So they're amazing people I've met there.
How did your perspective change after writing the book?
Looking at China is a good way to look at the West from the outside. And China is a country that has a lot of people, as we all know, compressed into a relatively small space with a lot of resource problems, and therefore had to develop a very codified society to deal with, pressures, demographic pressures. And I think that's an interesting model for this world, which has gotten very small, and how to create a harmonized code for resource use in the world. I think China has a lot to teach us about that.
How do you feel when you step onto the We stage?
Energized. So many happy young people. So intimidated a little bit, but energized for sure, yeah.
You haven't been on the stage today yet, right?
No, I'm going in a few minutes.
What's kind of a preview of what you're going to talk about?
Oh, I'm a preacher of the benefits of travel. So I'm telling young people to, and it doesn't necessarily mean leaving this country, but get out of their comfort zones, get out on the road, put them oneself in a position of vulnerability to the world. That's how one starts developing empathy for those less fortunate than us.
Besides China, what was one of the most life-changing experiences you've lived?
Oh, certainly spending the beginning of the Iraq War with a small family in Baghdad, walking to the front line in Liberia. The times I've risked my life a few times in my travels when I was a little bit younger.
Do you have any scary flashback moments from those experiences?
Well, I can't say I'm traumatized. I don't have PTSD, but yeah, I think a lot about it. The fact that in so many times when my life was on the line, how there always seemed to be someone who was willing to risk all to save me. It was a reminder of how fundamentally kind and generous the human being is.
Growing up, did you ever wish for someone to tell you something? And if so, what was that one thing that you wanted someone to tell you?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I guess now that I'm about halfway through my life or something like that, it all goes by very fast, so one has to cherish every moment. One has to look to get the most out of it. So don't do what you think you're supposed to do. Really seek out what you want to do with this life and find a way to make it happen.
And now you have experienced a lot of things. What advice do you have for the youth today?
Well, as I was saying, getting up on stage, telling them get out of their comfort zones. We're a very privileged country, and it's hard to realize that until you really see the less fortunate, and also put oneself in a position where things are not easy. That's where wisdom starts, and the path to wisdom is a thing to build one's life around.
You also produce films. What do you find so intriguing about the documentaries and telling stories?
Well, I guess my mission was always a humanist one. It's a way to bring people into a very intimate space with people far away. First of all, to bridge great culture gaps and to show that everyone has things in common, especially when we're talking about people in war zones or all the place, that we actually understand what's it like for the normal people there, so that we can get a sense of war from the bottom up and how terrible it is.
And lastly, I want to wrap it up. Who are you most excited to see in We Day Vancouver today?
Oh, You know what? I haven't even looked at who's going to be on stage, but when I was in Toronto, there was some really good music performances, and I'm here with my boy, so we like the music performances.
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking today. It was nice meeting you. Thank you.